Hello, everybody. We are back with another About the Fans post-game show. We were talking about the Miami Hurricanes against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Final score 41-31 in favor of the bad guys. I'm Jordan. We got Petrie as always, and a friend of the show today, a North Carolina fan named Wes. So, Wes, thank you for joining us today, man.
Of
We
course. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we agreed to do it, to have Wes on with us a few days ago, and unfortunately, he's gonna get to take a few laps on us in talking smack, because that did not go very well. But man, to me, the story of tonight was Tez Walker, right? What, 162 yards, 3 touchdowns?
Yep.
So, I mean, Wes, tell us about that, about him, not having eligibility, and then, I mean, he looked like the best player on both sides of the field today.
Yeah. Like I said, I think me and Petrie had talked about it before. Like UNC all year has kind of just been waiting for him to get his eligibility approved. Like we knew that he was good. We're just waiting for him to get a chance to play. All year, Mac Brown had talked about how he could potentially be the second best player on UNC's offense behind Drake May. I just think today he really got a chance to show why he's so special and why we needed him so bad. Like I said, today second game back and trying to make sure I get the exact numbers. But second game back and like you said, 6 catches, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns. And I mean, they weren't all just fly bombs. Like I said, I think we were just speaking about his second touchdown was a slant route or not slant route. I'm sorry, an in route that he ended up taking to the house on 3rd and 20. So he's a very dynamic player. I think he's great for UNC. I really think we have a good chance at winning the ACC this year as long as him and Drake can stay connected.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous connection. I mean, Tez Walker getting that eligibility, it felt like Carolina's offense in the first part of the season was already really good, and then you unlock a very good wide receiver, NFL potential kind of a guy. He goes out there and has the game of his life tonight. I'm not going to say unbelievable because we knew what kind of a talent that he possessed, but honestly, he even kind of bailed out Drake May a couple of times. I thought, he made Drake May look a lot better tonight. So, yeah, he helped him out very well tonight, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Tez Walker. That was a tremendous game.
Yeah, I think Drake May's an outstanding talent. From what I saw of him tonight, though, I was, maybe a little bit underwhelmed, or maybe a better way to put it is that I think the Miami defense did a great job of putting a lot of pressure on him. I know statistically he's not the best when he's under pressure. And so I think the game plan worked very effectively. What it didn't do, though, was find a way to stop Tez Walker. Because let's see, it was 132 yards out of Drake May's 273. So roughly 50% of his passing yards and, 3/4 of his touchdowns were one receiver. It's a shame because I feel like we had a good game plan. We just didn't have a single body on the field that could go toe to toe with Tez Walker tonight.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like I think we spoke about it earlier as well. For Drake May, right, it wasn't one of his better games. He struggled. A lot of the balls in the first half that he threw were behind receivers. You saw receivers slipping, trying to turn around and catch passes that he threw tonight. Very not Drake May like. So I think it's good that Tez Walker did actually come out and show that all right, my quarterback's a little off, but today I'm going to be the one to carry it. And I think that Miami's defense, like you spoke about, I think that in the first half their game plan was immaculate. Not Tez Walker. Drake May didn't play great. He was under pressure constantly. I read that he got sacked 4 times in the first half. So yeah, destroying Drake May in the first half. But I think that Tez Walker and then Omarion Hampton, the running back, ended up with I think 197 yards.
Yeah, I was just saying he had over 180 last I checked. So
yeah, so I think that as well as Tez playing phenomenal really helped Drake May out. And like I said, people are going to look at the box score. They're going to see that Drake May threw for almost 300 yards. They're going to see he threw 4 touchdowns with no picks, and they're going to say, "Oh, Drake May was great today." When in reality, Omarion Hampton and Tez Walker carried Drake May tonight.
Yeah.
So
I think also the box score is going to be a little bit deceiving when they see it as a 41-31 final score. It felt like UNC was kind of controlling the game from get-go. I thought, at least from a physicality standpoint, I thought UNC was even controlling in the first half. They just kept getting these personal fouls, all types of penalties that just Miami was on the benefiting end of that, and it kind of kept them in the game. If it weren't for that fumble on the goal line, they would have been up an extra touchdown. It would have been 24-14 going into half if we would have converted that touchdown. But that didn't really feel indicative of the the balance of how the teams were playing in and out. It just UNC just felt like the better team from front to back all night, start to finish. So 10 points, very generous for the Hurricanes.
I couldn't possibly agree more. That box score is going to be very deceptive. The time of possession was almost even. Both teams were ass on third down.
Yep.
I mean, what are you gonna say apart from that? North Carolina had a bunch of penalty yards, but then Miami didn't move the football on the ground at all, under 100 yards rushing between for the whole team, for the whole game. So the box score is going to be very deceptive. And then you see the final score, okay, 10 points. Hey, it is a double-digit win. We're not going to disrespect that. But at the same time, it felt like it should have been way fucking more than 10. It should have been way more than 10. Carolina, despite those penalties, still gets out of there feeling very, very comfortable with that win. Probably should have won by somewhere in the 17 to 24 kind of range rather than just 10.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, that's what I felt like when I think you guys scored the last touchdown. I thought the
Garbage
same thing.
time.
That's what I said. I was like, it's gonna affect the score. People are gonna look at it, and I'm like, yeah, but it's a garbage time touchdown. So, I mean, it is what it is. I still think I hate it for Miami so early in the season. I think that last week's loss really is gonna affect you guys moving forward because now you go from a potential ACC contender had you lost to Carolina and you would probably still be top 25 to now because you lost last week on a terrible coaching blunder to now you've lost 2 straight ACC games. So I just like, it's kind of
good
bad.
that I like that you bring that up too, because I'm trying to remember who it was, but somebody on Kane's Twitter earlier today was saying, if Miami had won that game but lost to Carolina tonight, then they would have probably still been ranked next week. However, being that they lost both games, very unlikely that they'll be ranked. So, good, well spotted. And I agree with that. Other people are identifying similar points.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd still be top 20, honestly. Had you won last week and lost this week, you probably wouldn't fall out top 20.
Yeah. So I posed a question on Kane's Twitter, as the game was winding down. So as we've discussed, the Hurricanes are now 0-2 in ACC play. We still have Clemson, Florida State, and Louisville on the schedule. How soon is too early to go for Emory Williams at starting quarterback?
No, it's early. I don't think that Miami's going to pull the trigger on that. He's a true freshman. They're going to let him get that red shirt. They're not going to pull the trigger. If anything, they burn Jakari Brown because he's already got a couple years invested with the program. But I think Emory Williams, true freshman, he does come in and he had been coming in and closing it in some of those early games when we were up a lot. But I'm not sure they're going to burn his red shirt on the second half of the season. I just don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, I think that's fair. If
whether you want to do that or not, that's the debate for sure. But what are they going to do? I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, and you're probably right in that they won't. You just think like TVD's last year, we're not going to have much to play for. I was thinking, we might even end up before this game. I was thinking that 9-4, 10-3 was on the table. That's a great season for the Hurricanes, considering what the last 20 years have been. Man, that's weird to say. But I don't know. It's like, do we really want Tyler Van Dyke to just work on his draft stock while we're just kind of floundering? I mean, I don't know. The rest of the season just kind of feels a little bit useless if we can't recover from this in a big way and beat Clemson and Florida State and Louisville, and that just doesn't feel very likely with this team.
Yeah, and I really don't want to like be wallowing and sad sacking about the Hurricanes because it really was a very good victory for North Carolina. You know what North Carolina got today? They got an old school Miami Hurricanes victory, right? Where you got 8 million fucking yards and penalties and you still won by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Okay.
Right.
They got an old school 80s kind of 90s Miami Hurricanes win today. And that's really incredible when you're sitting here talking about a double-digit win. Well, they won by 10. I correct myself. I know. I'm forgetting the garbage time touchdown. I walked away, right? I walked away. They won by 10 points. And again, they should have probably won by 17 to 24, give or take. All those damn penalties. That's an old school Miami Hurricanes win.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like we've kind of switched places in the last few years. You know, we're getting to the Final Four. You guys are kicking our butts in football.
Wes,
Yeah.
I know you saw that one that I retweeted.
I did. That was the first thing I thought too. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Damn, this is on the money."
Yeah, it's like you sit there and you're like, the Canes are up in basketball, but the Tar Heels are up in football. I don't know. We're living in a simulation, really.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't figure it out. Every year y'all beat us, and I cannot figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what though, Wes. You need to get your guys to stop putting the U down, man. I hate it. I don't even. I'm liking UNC less and less as the years go on, only because of that. Because I've actually, always had a more positive view on UNC compared to other conference schools in the ACC. But man, it makes my blood boil every time I see it. But at the same time, that's on the Canes that if you don't like it, you got to make them shut up on the field, and we're not doing that. So.
See, it's hard, right? Because like I said, I'm a diehard Carolina fan, but I just think it's pointless. Like, there's no point. Like, it'd be different if it was like something where we had like you said, a rivalry with Miami where every year, it was back and forth, back and forth. But let's be real, up until 5 years ago, y'all have dog walked us in the conference in football. So there's no like you bragging and showboating about it. Now it's just front running, And so I don't like it when any school does it. Like, I don't like when any school goes to another school's stadium, or even if they're home and they do it. I think it's just pointless. Like, I think it was the Texas and Oklahoma game, and Oklahoma was doing the horns down thing. I just think it's tacky. It's just tacky all the way around. But
bro, you could actually like build on. Did you see the thing where the Oklahoma players actually got tattoos?
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane,
bro. It's one thing to be like, like horns down, hey, tacky, corny, whatever. You're lame, you're a dork, whatever. But these boys got it tattooed on them. They tattooed the Texas logo upside down on their fucking bodies. That's crazy as hell. That's nuts.
So lame.
That's still putting your rival's logo on your body, man. That's weird.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. No matter how you look at it, you are still putting your rival's logo on your body.
Because a lot of times, we're emotionally invested in the rivalry. So you kind of try to put your bias to the side and think, okay, how would it be if this was that? But imagine, a Florida State fan, or excuse me, not a Florida State fan, rather, but a Florida State player getting the U upside down tattooed onto their body. You wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Wes, imagine like a Carolina player getting the Duke logo tattooed upside down.
It never
what would you do? Why would you fuck?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The funny thing is, let's say you got that on your arm. When you look down at it, it'd be right side up.
Yes.
And then you're reminded every single day, like, damn, I'm stupid.
It's the same thing. I got my rival's logo right side up from my vantage point on my body. So
it makes no sense. That is, like I said, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the U upside down. I don't like any. Yeah. I just think it's overrated. I think it's corny as overrated. Find a different way to celebrate.
Now I will say, though, from like purely a football standpoint, they earned the right to do that. I think it's corny? Yes, I do think it's corny to choose to do that, but they're certainly not wrong for it. They're not wrong for it.
No, I agree. Like I said, I feel like you said, I mean, if it's a problem, you got to stop it. Like, you just got to figure out a way to stop it. But at the same point, I just feel like there's so many other different things you could do versus just turning the U upside down. Every school that plays against Miami does it because they know it pisses Miami off. Yeah. And it's just like, all right, We get it. It's played out. Everybody's going to turn to you upside down. What else can you do?
But it does ultimately come down to that, and this, it was a Canes thing back in the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s. But I'm sure it's been other teams throughout history as well. If you don't like us celebrating, you don't like us dancing, you don't like us doing all kinds of crazy shit and celebrating, keep me out of the end zone.
Yep.
Keep me out of the end zone. How's that sound? All right. Mm-hmm. So when you look at players throwing down the U, and that makes your blood boil, guess what? Maybe next time you'll make the fucking tackle.
Yep.
Maybe next time Tyler Van Dyke will throw at a receiver who's not named Xavier Restrepo.
He doesn't even have to throw it to a different receiver. I just want him to look at a
different
receiver.
Just look, man.
Just look, man. Just pretend.
Make the defense think about it a little bit. There. He looked. Oh.
Just a slight little glance. Just make the safeties just even think that there's a possibility.
Man,
that's rough, man. Tonight was rough.
I feel for you guys. I do.
Yeah.
No, dog. I'm not gonna lie. If I was a Carolina fan, I'd be sitting real pretty right now. I'd be sitting real pretty right now. I'd be like, yeah, all them goddamn penalty yards and still walked y'all boys by 2 scores.
Yeah.
Hey, give me that. Let's run it back again. Let's play another one.
It's so hard because I feel like we've been blessed. We've had Sam Howell. Well, realistically, we had Mr. Trubisky, Sam Howell, and now Drake May pretty much consistently back to back for 5 years now. But we don't win shit. So it's hard. It's hard to get excited to be like, oh man, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
And every year we've had a top-notch quarterback and nothing's happened.
I was going to say it's very easy for some people to downplay certain quarterbacks just because they don't have high-level success in the NFL. But at the end of the day, you're sitting there, like you just said, Howell, May, and Trubisky. These are all guys who made it to the NFL. Guess what? 2%, 1% of all college players make it to the pros. So even if they're not Heisman guys necessarily, Drake May is, but even if the other guys are not Heisman player necessarily, you're dealing with an NFL player. Yep. If a college team, if you told any college team in the country, I don't know what's going to happen around the situation. However, I can guarantee you that your starting quarterback will one day become an NFL player.
Yep.
All 130 of those head coaches are taking that deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. Well, and Marquise Williams, I don't know if he ever actually played, but he had a cup of coffee with the Green Bay Packers. So,
yep.
You guys have been doing pretty good at QB for, almost 10 years now.
Number of years, I was going to say.
This is probably the best stretch we've had in probably ever with quarterbacks. So,
yeah. All right. Well, so Wes, I want to.
Andy Borregales was perfect on kicking today. Borregales, shout out Bora Goat Legs. That's my boy.
Yeah. And then, also another shout out to Jacoby George, who played an incredible game for the Hurricanes.
Yes, he did.
Really just had some amazing catches, made some amazing plays.
Hey, good yak plays. He had a couple of nice yard after catch runs. Van Dyke had a garbage time touchdown, but if it wasn't for his garbage time touchdown and Jacoby George and Restrepo doing what they did, Van Dyke might have had one of the worst games probably he's ever played. I don't know.
Yeah. Van Dyke is another guy who the box score is going to look a little bit deceptive for. His stats look pretty good other than the 2 picks, but really wasn't that great of a night for him. 3.
Yeah, well, the last play of the game was an interception.
Yeah, so
and can I just say, it was almost like, I don't know. I'm just saying, North Carolina took a knee to win the game.
Yeah, that's just
but he picked it off, and then he, kind of ran it 3 or 4 yards or whatever. Then he just took a knee. Obviously, mathematically speaking, time was up. He just took a knee, and I was like,
that's
the week after these motherfuckers lose the game the way that they lose the game, and then Carolina not only wins on a kneel, but it's not even like a conventional kneel. You know what I'm saying? It was completely an outlier of a circumstance, and they still pulled it off. Shit.
Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps up what we got for tonight. But before we go, Wes, I want to give you the opportunity to, give us a rundown on what, the Tar Heels are looking at for the next few weeks. If there's anything on your mind in terms of, the next big games that you guys have going, we appreciate having you on the show and, you being kind to us even after a SmackDown like that.
Oh, well, of course. I truly appreciate you guys having me. I love talking football. You guys know, like I said, y'all see me on Twitter. I love football. I love everything North Carolina. But honestly, man, I'm sitting there looking at the schedule. I'm not even trying to sound arrogant. I really think that we'll end up 8-0 going into the Duke game. The Duke game is the only thing I think we have the rest of the year that concerns me. Clemson, I know, is coming into form. I think we'll see how you guys play against Clemson, and that'll determine a lot for UNC. But I mean, sitting there looking at the schedule, Virginia is probably a wash. Georgia Tech will probably be a pretty bad beatdown. Campbell will walk through. Duke on Veterans Day weekend would probably be the closest game. Like I said, I mean, I ain't really watched much Duke this year. I seen Riley Leonard was hurt, though. I think he came back today, or he was supposed to come back today.
No, he didn't play.
He didn't play? Okay, so he'll probably be back in the next week or two. So I'm sure that game will end up being closer than I feel comfortable. NC State at the end of the year usually sneaks us, so they'll probably end up beating us, costing us a chance in the ACC title game. So I'm not really think we'll probably end up, I would say 10-1 if everything plays like it should. I think it's 10. Yeah. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10-1 is what I would say, or 11-0 if we could somehow finesse our way to the rest of the games. But knowing North Carolina, we'll do something dumb and we'll lose to, one of these terrible teams. Campbell probably. So.
Listen, you don't need to apologize for arrogance because I personally think the Canes are winning the rest of the games down the stretch here, and that's it.
I'm not mad. I hope y'all beat Florida State. I hate Florida State. Nothing about them. I've never liked them. So seeing you guys on Twitter interact with their fans is just the best thing ever to me. I love it.
Well, I got there's like a lot of Miami fans are unhinged, right? But a lot of them make good points. Very objective and focused on the matters about football. Just as strictly on the matters of football, right? A lot of these Florida State fans are in the game just to troll. Like they're on to be trolling. I'm like, bro, I know you don't believe the shit that you're saying right now. I know y'all are top 5, and they'll be like, yeah, I can't even recall like the exact ridiculous lies that they tell, but they be saying some wild shit.
Yeah. I seen a guy, I think it was last week. I believe it was last week, where it said Jordan Travis was better than Caleb Williams, and I was just like, "There's no way you genuinely believe that."
You got to relax. You put Caleb Williams on Florida State right now, and they're probably number 1.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, yeah. It's not even close. They're terrible.
Yeah, shoot, dude, I'm so tired of the Canes. Just sucks. I'm glad basketball season's starting in 2 weeks. I'll say that.
Yes.
All right.
Hey,
so
this is an about the buckets account.
Yeah, I'm gonna start changing our overlay halfway through, so turn it into a basketball show when the going gets rough for the Canes.
You should. You definitely should. Y'all are gonna be good again this year, I'm sure. So.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, Wes, Jordan's a Jazz fan, but, the Heat are going to be good again this year. And, your Hornets are looking like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with the Hornets, but so they're going to jail. They're going to jail.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. That might be every year I'm like, the Panthers are terrible. Like, this might be the worst team I've ever rooted for. No, the Hornets are the absolute worst, worst ran franchise I have ever been a fan of. It is terrible. Like, everything about the franchise is awful. Like, I saw today where Miles Bridges was back at the gym practicing, and I just can't figure it out. Like, you were literally arrested yesterday. Like, you turned yourself in yesterday, and it's not even like he was turned in for something simple. Like, he got a DUI. Like, no, he physically tried to abuse his baby mother, like with the children in the car. And the Hornets is like, nah, that's not that bad. Look,
I saw you had retweeted I saw you had retweeted the report, man. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, dude, this guy, Prison League All-Star, man. What are you doing, brother? What are you doing, man?
That's what I'm saying. They sit there and let that fly, but then they got rid of Kai Jones instantly. He started tweeting about how he was the GOAT, and they got rid of him same day.
So, Wes, have you watched any Scoot Henderson since the draft?
I have. I watched the game he played 2 nights ago where he ended up with 22.
Okay.
I really like Scoot. Before the draft, I was on Twitter. If you look at my Twitter site, where I was really a Scoot person. Like, I understand Brandon Miller's got a lot of potential, right? I get it. He's a pretty knockdown shooter, but Scoot Henderson, but he's a monster. You watch him play, he's built like an NBA player. He's efficient. He's been playing already, obviously, because he was in the G League. He's all around. He looks like the real deal.
But the thing is like Miller has the physical attributes. So a lot of times you're talking about the potential. Scoot Henderson, as of today, is probably the better player of the game of basketball, right?
Yeah.
But Brandon Miller might have a higher ceiling just because of his physical attributes. He's going to be a more versatile defender, and that's going to open up opportunities for him. But Scoot looks nice. He looks nice.
The reason why I brought it up, and I'm a Jazz fan, so I understand pain when it comes to basketball teams. But that would have been a rough night on draft night for me if I was a Hornets fan. I'm a big fan of Scoot Henderson, he looks the part so far. So
yeah, it hurt. Like I said, I was upset. I really wanted Scoot. I wanted Scoot bad, but like I said, I mean, like Petrie said, I read the little thing on Brandon Miller. I read his report where they were scouting him. I understand he has a lot of upside. He's a knockdown shooter. I can't remember I think he was the one that was an accomplice to the murder or something, right? The shooting, that's what was his issue? Okay, yeah.
That was him.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, I hope he works out. I know the Hornets' track record with drafting potential, and it's just not there.
I know the Hornets' track record with drafting convicted felons.
Facts. Right, that is a fact.
Shit. I really do hope it works out. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised that NBA teams sometimes don't like put their balls on the desk and do something crazy. If the Hornets had drafted Scoot Henderson, they could have traded like the rights. I don't know how you would, I don't know the right verbiage for that, but they could have traded like the fact that we have Scoot Henderson and you want him for a shitload more. You know what I mean? And Brandon Miller's good, but LaMelo Ball is kind of a ball dominant kind of player. So I don't know how Brandon Miller's going to really mesh. Yeah. They could have taken Scoot Henderson, probably traded that for a little bit more and seen what they got. But, that's why I'm not an NBA GM. And that's why I'm talking about the Canes on a Saturday night on the About the Fans broadcast.
I feel you. I definitely feel you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's wrap up for the night. Wes, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being graceful, and in your victory over us tonight. It's much appreciated. I don't know if I could have handled a whole lot of smack talk. I feel very beaten down by sports in the last 2 weeks.
Hey, I'm just saying, Canes down. Canes down. Canes down. Screenshot it if you need to. Whatever.
Oh, man. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for watching. Check out our shirts. Petrie's got a hat on, aboutthefans.com. For all of your South Florida sports gear needs. And once again, Petrie, West, thank you so much. And we'll be back next week, everyone. Make sure you check us out after, I believe we have Clemson next week. So maybe we'll get a win. I don't know. Until then, go Canes, everyone.
Go Canes. Hey, Wes, great talking ball, brother.
Of course. I'll holler at you guys.
Yeah, Wes, thank you so much, man.